What's going on, boys? It's your man Mitya, today bringing you a kind of a weird video. I'll be discussing today my thoughts on the overarching, direction it seems like the devs want to take the game. I'm quite pessimistic. I've always been pessimistic about this game in general. I've been playing it for nearly 4 years now. And the reason why is because I know that about 80% of the player base, 85% of the player base are survivors. And that's a huge issue when you try to balance a game, because everything you do is tainted by the fact that the overwhelming majority of the player base plays one role. The biggest problem, that role is supposed to be weak. That's just it. It has to be. It can't be strong individually. You can't be strong individual as a killer, because you play. There are 4 of you and there's 1 killer. So the role has to be weak, but you have to accommodate the fact that 85% player base plays that role. So it's very difficult. But I don't feel like the devs think that it's difficult. I have to tell you guys. I don't think they think it's difficult. I think the devs think it's real easy. So that's a prelude to my entire critique of this game's direction. So we'll start off by nerfing Deathslinger. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that caught me off guard. I had no idea Deathslinger was problematic. And the way, I'm not gonna read this because you guys can read this. I'm not your teacher. For example, this sentence here. This creates lose-lose situations for the survivor where there is nothing they can realistically do to avoid getting hit. And this whole paragraph really gives an insight into how delusional the devs are. Because, what exactly do the devs think? Do the devs think it should always depend on the survivors whether or not they get hit? Spoiler alert, that can't work. You can't have a 4v1 like that. This is the way to describe the Deathslinger mechanics is how you would describe a 1v1 game playing MK or Injustice or something. The survivors needs to get hit at some point, devs. Sorry to break it to you. At some point they do need to get hit and they need to go down and they need to get hooked. I don't understand in what universe is Deathslinger warranting a nerf? Worse, guys. If you go if your take is, well, we don't think it's healthy. We don't think it's healthy. Okay, then you compensate, because it's certainly not the power level of the killer that's problematic, is it? No one thinks he's overpowered. No one thinks that. He's already a shitty version of Huntress. There's only there are 2 camps of people, guys. People that know Huntress is better and people that don't know that. And that's it. Point is, what the fuck is that? Why are you nerfing Deathslinger, bro? I can name at least 10 killers that are better than him. That aren't problematic, by the way, either. Wraith is way better than Deathslinger. It doesn't deserve to get nerfed either. Blight's better. Well, Blight should get nerfed in the way of fixing him, so he doesn't slide on anything, and that would be much better. Even a quote-unquote normally functioning Blight is way stronger than Deathslinger. Huntress is stronger than him. Billy, Doctor, Spirit, before she gets turned into dust, I guess. Nurse is better. I could think of others. Oni's better. And so many killers are just better than this guy, right? He's just mediocre. And then you go down and they increase this tear radius so that you can't be sneaky with monitor and abuse. Why is this happening? Like, I see this now, I'm thinking, wow. Like, are they nerfing Doctor? Doctor is better. Are they nerfing Doctor next patch? I don't know. Are they gonna nerf Wraith? And Wraith is way better than Deathslinger. He's getting nerfed too. Is, Legion the ideal power level for the devs? Now we move down to Plague. I don't think Plague is a particularly fun killer to play. She's not particularly weak. I think Plague is a stronger killer than Deathslinger, and they're buffing her and they're nerfing Deathslinger. I don't understand. I think it's just because survivors complain about the Deathslinger landing shots on them. It has to be that, because it can't be power level. Think about it, guys. Why are these add-ons like these? Every killer has one of these, or 1 or 2 of these nowadays. Except if you're Nurse, in which case you have 10 of those. Why do you have add-ons that suck? That makes your killer worse? Guys, can you think in League of Legends of imagine if there were runes in League of Legends, if you played that game, that actually makes your characters weaker. You deal 5% less damage. Why the fuck would anyone use that? Why the fuck would anyone use that? Yeah, that's what they print. Instead of thinking, wow, what can I do that could be cool for gameplay? What could I do that could be interesting, a niche? I'm just gonna print something that's shit. This is just a further example of the design philosophy of the devs. Like, this is what they think. This is what someone came up with. We'll make the killer weaker. By the way, that defeats the entire purpose of add-ons. That's the reason you farm the add-ons, is to have more power. Okay, so they're buffing a bunch of perks. See, what's the overarching philosophy? We'll buff a bunch of survivor stuff. By the way, the reason why survivors, there isn't any real build variety among survivors. It's not because they're forced into perks, unlike killers. If you play killer at rank 1 or a high MMR, there are 2 ways of playing the game. You either have 4 slowdown perks, or 3 of them, or you slug people. Survivors aren't forced into cookie cutter builds like killers at rank 1. So what are they left with? Well, they're left with a selection of about 10 or 15 very, very strong perks. And they just use them because they're the most effective at winning the game. They're just all around good. They're always good. Iron Will, Borrowed Time, Dead Hard, DS, Unbreakable, stuff like that. There are too many good survivor perks, and so if they want other perks to see play, they have to make them OP. And so what do? Well, they buff a bunch of survivor perks. I don't think these will see play except Windows of Opportunity. I think Windows of Opportunity now is overpowered. And then there's the Mindbreaker. Funny enough, guys, maybe my science will be rewarded. If you guys know, I've played with Mindbreaker quite a bit. I've quite a few videos on my channel showcasing the perk. This just makes it straight up better. Issue is with Mindbreaker, as with every other killer perk there's in the game, guys. Does it slow down the game? No. So that one still see no play except maybe on raid. Hatch. Hatch is a good example again of that overarching game philosophy that I was describing earlier. Everything the devs do takes into account that 80 to 85% of the player base plays survivor. Why is the hatch in the game in the first place? Remember, guys, the purpose of the hatch is to make sure that there's always a chance that the survivors win. Here's how many chances the survivors get of winning. Okay, so they can win by doing the gens. They can win the game, even if they don't do the gens, through the hatch. And then there's a third chance. If they fail to do the gens and they fail to get the hatch before the killer finds it, they still get to open the exit gates. That's how much the devs want the survivors to win. Is this change good, guys? Yes. But here's the worst thing I think I've ever seen about this game. Boon totems. Alright, boys. Now I'm just gonna explain to you why I'm seriously considering not playing killer in the future. Here's a fact. And even delusional survivor mains agree with that fact. Survivors don't have enough things to do. The only objective for survivors really is to do the gens. Yet the devs introduce boon totems, which will be busted because they want survivors to use them. The survivors can just run across the map to some corner where a killer will never go because they can't afford to go to a corner where there isn't a gen nor a survivor. Imagine if they put something like, what's C play? Survivors have 5% more movement speed. That breaks the game. That would break the game. Gens can't regress. That would break the game. What would be something else that could see play? While this is active, everyone gets a breakable, so no one can get slugged. That would break the game. I don't enjoy this game all that much, guys. I would have stopped playing a long time ago. Were it not for you. I've been uploading now for about 6 months straight. 7 months. I've been uploading every single day for you guys. I could make a funny challenge, series going from rank 20 all the way to rank 1. Playing Survivor, because I don't play Survivor one bit. So I'm always sent back to rank 20 every month when the ranks reset. But that's not my plan. I'm not saying that I'm moving away from DBD, but I'm saying that I would do it if it gets to the point where it's just no fun to play killer. Like at this point, I fully expect Wraith to get nerfed, and Doctor to get nerfed, and Huntress to get nerfed, and Nurse to get. They are already removing Spirit from the game, guys. I don't think people appreciate just how awful those changes to spirits are. The game philosophy behind phasing when spirit uses her power, right, is that you don't see the survivors. You can't collide with them either. You can't see them, but they can't see you either, right? So you have a massive disadvantage by using her power. You don't see the survivors. You have to hear them. But the upside is the survivors don't see you, right? So you have a massive power that does something superbly positive for you, i.e. survivors not seeing you, but have a massive drawback, which is you don't see the survivor. Now, what will happen after the changes? The survivors will hear you and see you, and you won't hear them. It's always been difficult, guys, to play killer because, as I say, it's a game made for survivors, and that's always the priority. That's the reason why almost every single killer perk that is put into the game sucks. That is the reason why most killers on release suck, is because the devs don't want killers to be strong. They don't. They want killers not to be so appallingly weak so that nobody plays them, but they don't want the killers to win. They want the killers to be there for the player base that plays the Survivor to have fun and to purchase the skins, which there are way more of for survivors than killers. It's not about a balanced game. They don't care about that. It's not about a fun experience for either side. It's not that. It's about retaining and attracting player base, and doing as much as possible as you can to improve the survivor's experience and try not to make it so nobody will play killer. Now, I've heard that there's another horror game that's coming out soon. I'll be trying it out. Anyway, boys, a bit of a huge rant. I'm sorry I just went on for so long, but I mean, you guys let me know if you enjoy these, kind of rants about the game balance and about, changes they put into the game. I'm not a big fan of them. I would much rather prefer playing a game where I felt like my skills mattered, where I felt like my critical role, because I play critical role. 4 survivors can't play a game if I'm not playing it. I'm not appreciated. The only people that appreciate me are you guys. And you're the people you're the reason why I keep uploading videos about Deep. I would have quit that game a long time ago, boys. It's just that I don't have anything else to upload. I want to be successful at this YouTube thing, and I settled on Dead by Daylight as my main game for you guys. I'll be checking out the other Dead by Daylight clones if they come out. Anyway, boys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys will share with me and with other people your opinions in the comment section. I definitely feel quite strongly about these things. Maybe there's something I missed, maybe it's something you would like to explain to me, but if you're a Survivor main that you want to explain to me why it's good that you should always be able to dodge Death Slinger's shots under every circumstances, and if you can explain away why it's not important that there are 3 other people that are doing gens while you're dodging every single shot. If you can explain that to me in the comment section, please do. That would amuse me before I go to work. I'll see you soon, guys. See you.